Alliance invited for a Brahmin boy from a well-to-do family. Parents of well-educated, naturally beautiful and cultured girl invited to apply, preferably from Brahmin caste. Write box 9612.
Alliance invited
Times
for
of
smart,
India, Bombay.
slim, good-looking girl, professionally qualified from cultured, well-placed, high-caste Hindu family. Boy should be of similar background. Write box H 140.
Handsome Kshatriya boy, 33 years old. Alliance invited from fair, pretty, convent-educated girl, preferably from Kshatriya caste. Please correspond with full details and family background. Write box D 61001S, Times of India, Bombay.
What about me? What if I want to get married to somebody who belongs to the scheduled caste or not the caste that we belong to?
Well, so far as I'm concerned, I don't think you will face any opposition from my side. But I would be particular about the fact that even if the boy belongs to some other caste, he should at least have a good family background and be able to look after you in the way that you have been brought up. Otherwise, caste won't matter to me, at least. It might matter to others, but so long as the boy...
Papa?
To your father, I'm not so sure about him. Indian society is divided into more or less watertight compartments in a hierarchy. This is because we have a unique institution in India, namely the caste system, which is not found probably anywhere else in the world. The main castes that we have in this hierarchy from top to bottom are the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. And although people may not be aware of it, there is the fifth caste, which are the Chandalas, who are supposed to actually lie outside the pale of the caste system because they are not even supposed to be, they're not supposed to be human beings as according to the other castes, and they are the Chandalas, or as we call them, the untouchables. So you have this system being perpetuated in India through the centuries, going on for generations on a hereditary basis. And no matter that you could change your religion, people converted, but people could not change their caste. You were born and you died in the caste that you were in.
You may not know what caste your friend is, but more often than not, in St. Xavier's College, they are of the upper caste. I mean, it happens, you don't ask, but I'm sure you'd realize if the person was from a scheduled caste or something. You know, you'd realize, you say it doesn't matter to you, but the fact is that most of us probably have never come across them.
How many students over here belong to the Brahmin caste? Put your hands down. How many Kshatriyas? How many Vaishyas? How many Shudras? How many belong to the Chandalas? Amrita, I notice you have not put up your hand at all.
I want to make my protest felt, and if someone asks me what caste I belong to, I'd rather say I'm an Indian and I belong to the world community. I don't consider these kind of boundaries relevant. It doesn't make sense to me.
I feel that coming to an elite college like St. Xavier's and taking on subjects that are going to give me a job, that are going to push me into a system, into the yuppie culture or whatever, getting an MBA, all this is all part of a caste system. It is all part of a certain conditioning that we've been brought up to believe. Who my boyfriend is going to be tomorrow, or who the guy I'm going to marry tomorrow, is not necessarily a matter of how much is he earning, but what kind of a family does he come from? What is his family background?
When I see my friends going through the sacred thread ceremony, which I went through myself many years ago when my brother was getting married, it's a thing which all upper-class Hindus have to go through, because without doing this, you cannot get married, because it's only after this that you're a true Hindu and a man, ready to embark upon your other phase in life, which is the married phase. I was told by the priest in English, translated from the Holy Scripts, I am to wear this sacred thread at all times as of today. Certain rituals involved with wearing the thread is like when you're going to the bathroom, you have to tie the thread around your ear. It all seemed very funny to me because I was much younger and not able to understand. I rebelled against wearing that thread because I thought it was rather silly. You can't go swimming, you can't go in a public place with a thread over your shoulder. As a result of which the priest blessed a gold chain, which I now wear every day from that day. The excluded people from this whole thread ceremony are the women of all castes, which don't have to go through it, and the Shudras, which are technically the untouchables. I firmly believe in rebirth and the Hindu system. And your position and caste in society depends upon your deeds done in your past birth. And I guess being born into this lucky society and the caste I'm in, I was probably rewarded for something I did in my last birth. And depending upon the deeds I do in this birth, will decide my position in my next life.
मेरा नाम रमेश महिपाल है। मंदिर में सफाई करता हूँ। हिंदू हूँ, दलित हूँ। कुछ लोग मुझे अछूत मानते हैं। जिसके साथ में जो सो बुरा करता है, उसके साथ में बुरा होता है। जिसके साथ में कोई भला करता है, उसका भला होता है। मगर मेरे किस्मत में लिखा है तो सफाई का काम करता हूँ। मैं करता हूँ वो काम, मेरे बच्चे में चाहता नहीं कि उनके किस्मत में क्या लिखा है वो करेंगे। वो मैं करता हूँ तो मैं तो चाहता नहीं हूँ अपने मुँह से कि ये भी काम वो ही करें। वो लिखा है जाने क्या करेंगे क्या नहीं करेंगे।
When I look at the untouchables, they seem to me as if they are punished. Being born in my caste doesn't exactly mean that I have no responsibility towards the lower caste, because I think trying to help towards the uplift of the lower caste would probably add to my good deeds I perform in this life. And this system all seems quite fair.
The entire Hindu religious practices and beliefs are obsessed with ideas of purity and pollution. Time was divided into pure and impure. Space was divided into pure and impure. Men were divided into pure and impure. Things were divided into pure and impure. It was mainly because of the type of occupation that the lower caste had to do. This occupation defiled them, put them in a state of perpetual pollution, made them impure for life. They could never be purified. This included cleaning the excreta of the higher caste, scavenging, which meant picking up the rubbish from the roads, picking up the dead corpses.
Sri Rama, 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 Sri Rama.
The lower caste was born in pollution, and died in pollution. There was no escape from this curse, and the caste system remained with no hope of any sort of mobility for the lower caste to move up the ladder. In some parts of India, they would tie a broom round their waist so that their footsteps would be swept away as they walked, because their footsteps would pollute the road that they walked on. In other parts of India, they wore a bell round their neck so that the other higher caste would know that an impure caste is coming that way, and they would move out of the way, because even the shadow of a low caste would pollute the higher caste.
जाति मेरा हरिजन वाल्मीकि है। माँ बाप गांव में खेती का काम करते थे, किसानी का, लेकिन उससे गुजारा नहीं हुआ तो मेरे बाप भी यहाँ आ गए थे। झाड़ू मारता हूँ किचन में, बरामदे में, हॉल में, परमिट रूम में, बाथरूम भी सफाई करता हूँ। 6 साल से सफाई करता हूँ, सफाई का काम करता हूँ 6 साल से। अच्छा लगता है, मजबूरी में करना पड़ रहा है और काम किधर मिलता नहीं, तो इसलिए यही काम कर रहे हैं। पढ़े नहीं, अनपढ़ आदमी हैं, पढ़े लिखे नहीं। उसके बाद में 5 बजे के बाद में होटल के बाजू में एक गली है, उस गली में सो जाता हूँ रात को। 3 बच्चे हैं, 3 लड़की है मेरा। अरे हर कोई सोचता है कि मेरा बच्चा पढ़ लिख के आगे बढ़े थोड़ा, तो अपने पास तो इतना पैसा नहीं जो कि पढ़ाएं लिखाएं, कहाँ से पढ़ाएं लिखाएं। जाति मेरा हरिजन वाल्मीकि है।
As a writer, I feel split into half. In Bombay's high caste literary society, I'm accepted as a writer. Even so, the reality prevents me from separating myself from my origins as an untouchable. The objective of writing my autobiography was to bring out in the open what Indian society would like to keep hidden. Also to share with others the experience of shame and humiliations from the day of birth of an untouchable. My mother was a scavenger, like you see still today all over India. She spent her life picking through rubbish for paper and other scrap material. My heart breaks for them. I can't help reflecting that when Gandhi picked up a broom in his hand, he was called a Mahatma, a saint. But when my people pick up the broom to sweep, we are called outcast. As a Dalit writer, I travel a lot, visiting towns and villages where I lecture, read my poetry, and I meet my people.
झुंज मुंजू का छाल पीठ जातात आटल पीठ जातात आटल कनी कोंडा ग कोंडा मी रांदिते बाय मी धरण धरण बांधिते. काळूबाईला जायाचं आई ग माझी काळू ग बाई धावल्याला ग माझ्या धावत.
Tulsidas, a 14th century writer, observed, women, untouchables, and drums are for beating. Now in the 20th century, nothing has changed. Women, untouchables, and drums are still beaten. In following Dr. Ambedkar's example, like thousands and thousands of Dalits, I am a convert to Buddhism. The importance of Dr. Ambedkar's teachings cannot be stressed enough. Dr. Ambedkar believed in 3 guidelines for untouchables: educate, organize, and agitate.
Dr. Ambedkar is an example that an outcast is capable of rising to the highest level in society. Dr. Ambedkar denounced the caste system as he denounced the Hindu religion, as he found that the caste system was the essential of the Hindu religion. In the pre-independence period, under the British rule, he became a labor minister. Later, he was in charge of drafting the new constitution for India and continued as a cabinet minister. Dr. Ambedkar was able to agitate for some laws to help and protect the untouchables. But very little real progress has been made in the 40 years since independence. I am the grandson of Dr. Ambedkar, and I have decided to carry on the mission of my grandfather to change the conditions of the outcast.
What happened?
बेन, थोड़ा बैंक का जो है पैसा मिल रहा है उसको विरोध क्यों कर रहे हैं आप लोग?
हमको जो 10 तारीख को मिलता है वो मिलना चाहिए ना। बाद में
आज तो 1 तारीख को मिलता है ना। 10 तारीख को बैंक में 10 तारीख के पहले ही आएगा ना।
हाँ, हमको नहीं मांगता।
लेकिन साहूकार का छुटकारा तो होगा।
पढ़ेला लिखेला नहीं, उसके लिए हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं ना।
लेकिन तुम्हारा इसका तो छूट जाएगा। जो मनी लेंडर है, पैसा देता है, उससे छूट हो जाएगा।
छूट जाएगा, वो हम लोग को प्रॉब्लम सोल्व हो जाएगा।
In the traditional Indian villages, the untouchables were forced to do the lowest and the filthiest work. To escape this slavery, many migrated to cities, but being burdened by the stigma of untouchability, the jobs available to them were limited. In the city of Bombay alone, the municipal authorities use 120,000 of them to clean the roads and sewerage and to collect the rubbish.
લગન અમારા કર્યા તે પછી મુંબઈમાં આવી ગુજરાતમાં ભણવાનું હતું પણ અમારા લોકોને પથ્થર મારતા હતા કાંઈ ભણવા નહોતા દેતા તો અમે કાંઈ ભણ્યા નહીં અમે અભણ સહી તો અમે અહીંયા મુંબઈમાં આવ્યા હતા ના ઝાડુનું કામ અમારા ઘરવાળા ઝાડુનું કામ કરતા હતા ઘણા લોકો કહે છે કે નીચી લોકોના જાત આગળ વધી ગયા પણ આપણે આગળ વધવા નથી દેતા ગુજરાતી લોકોના
म्यूनसिपालिटी महानगर पालिका में काम कर रहा हूँ सफाई का। मैं दलित हूँ और टीबी का बीमारी होता है हम लोग को, जो अपना कैंसर का बीमारी होता है, रोग होता है, खुजली होता है। झाड़ू का काम कर रहे हैं तो पैर में कचरा लगता है, फिर हाथ में खुजली होती है और वो वहाँ खाना खाता है हाथ से तो मुंह में जाता है, तो टीबी का बीमारी भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी बीमारी हो सकता है हम लोग को। उसमें हमें बहुत तकलीफ होता है।
ખાવાનું બનાવ્યું કે નહીં ખાવા? શાક ભાગ બનાવ્યું? હા થઈ ગયું થઈ ગયું.
मेरा पिताजी भी काम करते थे म्यूनसिपालिटी में, मैं भी कर रहा हूँ, झाड़ू का काम कर रहे हैं। मेरा माँ भी झाड़ू का काम कर रहे हैं, मेरा माँ भी झाड़ू का काम कर रहे हैं, मैं भी झाड़ू का काम कर रहा हूँ। और हम लोग को हमारा रहने के लिए खोली देते हैं और मैं भी झाड़ू का काम कर रहा हूँ और आगे भी हम लोग को रहने के लिए खोली देंगे और मेरा बच्चे को भी झाड़ू का काम करना पड़ेगा। हाँ, झाड़ू मारવું પડશે તને, ખોલી નહીં વાંચતા
હું ઝાડુ નહીં મારે
તો હું બની તો આગળ જાતા इंजीनियर बने।
मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरे बच्चे पढ़कर आगे बढ़े, अपना भविष्य उज्जवल बनाएं, मगर क्या करूँ, मैं तो इतना पढ़कर भी झाड़ू मारती हूँ क्योंकि मैं 10 साल से सिपाही में काम करती हूँ और दलित समाज में जन्म लिया इसलिए मेरे पर 2 अत्याचार होते हैं। एक तो मैं औरत हूँ और दूसरा कि मैं दलित समाज हूँ इसलिए। और मैं आम्बेडकरवादी हूँ, मैं आम्बेडकरवादी हूँ और इसलिए कि मैं दलित हूँ और दलित समाज में मैंने जन्म लिया है, तो मैं मेघवाल बुद्धिस्ट हूँ।
शैलेंद्र यादव, Shailendra Yadav, you have submitted all your certificates?
Yes, sir.
Which college did you pass from?
I pass from Ram Nivas Ruya Junior College.
Where is it located?
It's located in Matunga.
We are taking you in from the reserved category. What percentage of marks did you get?
81.
I wanted to know, when did you decide that you wanted to become a doctor? I'm the dean of the GS Medical College. We admit in this school 200 students for our MBBS course every year. According to the Constitution of India, we have to reserve a certain number of seats. In the reserved category, we have scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. So we have a certain number of seats reserved for scheduled castes. And only the best students among the scheduled castes will get admission to this school. Because of casteism, these people, whom we now call the reserve category, never got really an opportunity to study and therefore never took up jobs, higher jobs. And therefore the Constitution of India protected them by this reservation, reservation in a higher education, reservation for jobs, so that these people, basically intelligent people, who were set aside for years and years, had now the opportunity to fight out and come up in life and show that they are equals to the others. I belong to the Saraswat Brahmin community, which is amongst one of the highest communities amongst the Brahmins themselves. But this is something which has come to me by birth. That's all. It was given to me. I had no choice.
The inner feelings of people haven't changed, though the outer appearance appears to be friendly. Yes, they are friendly, but the inner feelings, no. They do not want us to compete with them. They want us to remain where we are. It shouldn't be that low social economic class or backward class should do all the dirty jobs. In my college, sweepers are my people. I do feel very bad about it. When I see a sweeper, I know he just belongs to a scheduled caste family. It does drag me down. It is empowered upon us. We didn't want to be a scheduled caste. It came from our birth.
I think the caste system in India today largely manifests itself because of this policy of reservation that we have in the country. It kind of perpetuates itself because you have the system where a class of people are made aware that they belong to this caste because they're given privileges in entering jobs, entering educational institutions, right from the time they're born. It's like they're denied an equal footing because policymakers don't let them know that they are equal to the rest of society.
The way she said it should be
Majority of the population is ignored. In the sense, I'm talking about scheduled castes and tribes. And I wonder today, after 40 years, there is hardly any integration or either any development taking place.
Compared to the 5,000 years of humiliation I've suffered. Where were we with that thing?
Why don't you have something later? Eat something. No? Yeah. This is the tea time. Yes? Something in little while. Well, we belong to Vaishya caste. That is commercial business people. We have number of castes here. One is Khatri, the fighting people.
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya. Yes, right you are. And then we are Vaishya. Vaishya means who indulge only in business, only in commercial activities, industry. They are called Vaishya. And the other caste is Shudra, that is untouchable, Harijans. Of course, those were the good old days when even these Harijans, untouchables, they were not allowed to enter the temples. But thanks to our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, he brought the revolution in this country. And the untouchables, or Harijans, which we call, they were allowed to enter the temples. They were allowed to do all sorts of activities.
We don't believe, nowadays we don't believe in, caste. We mixed with everyone. Even our cook, he's a Muslim. So we don't believe in that nowadays. Before we used to, our elders, they never used to drink water even from their hands. Untouchable and Muslim, this is a Hindu, this is a Muslim. Now we don't believe in all these things. We are all one.
But I think in most households, even in a city like Bombay, the person who comes to clean the toilets every day, is not the same person who does the cleaning for the rest of the house. In most buildings, they have a separate person who comes and he or she cleans the bathrooms for the whole building and then goes away. The same function was performed by the outcasts even 50 years ago, but that was in the villages and they had those old style of, carrying the night soil on their heads and things like that. Now what's happened is now we have the modern toilet system, but the people who clean the toilets are still the same people. So I think in that sense, the caste system is still sort of working in the cities. But what about now? Do you think, for instance, does the same practice happen in your house, in this building also with the toilets? One person comes to clean. All
Yeah,
of them?
but then sometimes she cleans my rooms also.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
We give her tea, we give her this thing to
Yeah.
eat something, but then same.
Yeah.
Same.
हम काठियावाड़ से बॉम्बे आए हैं। हमारा माँ बाप खेतीबाड़ी का काम करता है, वो लोग खुद रहता है, हम बॉम्बे में आया। हम आके झाड़ू लगाता है, सबका छोटा मोटा काम करता है, बाथरूम धोता है, घर के अंदर सब कुछ करना पड़ता है। 20-25 साल हो गए ये बिल्डिंग में झाड़ू मारते हैं, और पगार मिलता है 400 रुपये झाड़ू मारने का। करना पड़ता है ना, मजबूरी से पेट में। हाँ, बहुत तकलीफ होता है, झाड़ू मारने के जाते कमर में दर्द होता है, पाँव में दर्द होता है, झाड़ू नहीं मार सकते। मर्द है मेरा आदमी, मेरा लड़का, वो हम साथ में रहते हैं सब लोग एक खोली में, और हमारा सब साथ में झाड़ू लगाने को जाते हैं।
My mother, my father, they never allow these people to enter in the same room or sit in the same table, but those days are gone. Now we are moving in the modern world. People in cities, they have changed, not in the rural places. But now let me tell you, as Brahmins, they don't allow untouchables to enter their houses because they think that they are the religious heads.
Yeah.
They are the prophets, messengers of God.
So you mean by bringing in somebody like an untouchable,
yes,
it'll pollute them?
That's right.
We organized this march of Dalits, the Harijans, the untouchables. These are different names the untouchables are known by in our country. And we took about 250 of those Dalits with small boards hanging on from their neck saying that they are Dalits, they are untouchables, and proclaiming their right to enter into the temple enshrined in our new constitution. And the high caste people, they created all sorts of obstructions, and suddenly the government, the police swooped on us and they arrested us. We were shocked because the central government had promised that the Harijans have a right to go into the temple. We organized another march. This time we were allowed up to the gate, main gate of the temple. As we entered into the first gate, the gate was closed from behind. And then suddenly all these so-called priests who are like muscle men swooped on our people and they were beaten badly. The world is aware about the apartheid of South Africa, which is inflicting humiliation to about 22 million blacks. But we have 150 million untouchables who are leading life which is very much similar to that of apartheid. And yet, the world is not aware of the magnitude of this problem. This place known as the stone quarries of Surajkund, it's a whole area of 25 kilometers long. About 10,000 laborers, almost to the last person, they are migrant laborers. And they belong to the lowest caste, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, the untouchables, the Dalits. Ever since these mines have been nationalized, we had expected that the things would change here. To our great disappointment, we find that no law which the governments have enacted since independence are being enforced in these areas. Each one of them is being violated with impunity. Not even drinking water is being provided for. The workers are getting 1/3 of what has been fixed as minimum wage. We have been raising these issues in the Supreme Courts, in the parliaments, through the press, through other media, and even before the United Nations Human Rights Commission.
I contested on behalf of Bharatiya Republican Party. I was interested in standing for the elections because I wanted to fight for the social justice for Dalits and women. And as a woman, I was interested in participating in the political decision-making process in India. But I have lost. But still I feel empowered because I could meet so many people and I could see through their lives.
आपण हे देखील पाहत होतो की जास्तीत जास्त शिस्त ही आपल्या मिरवणुकीमध्ये असणं हे थोडंसं आवश्यक आहे. आपणच अगदी उत्साहाने सगळेजण धावत होतो पण आपल्या गाड्यांमध्ये स्पर्धा होणं वगैरे हे जे प्रकार चाललेले असतात.
I am one of the founder member for Women's Support Center and Revolutionary Women's Organization.
बाबासाहेब आंबेडकरांचा जो पुतळा आहे
Dr. Ambedkar says that slavery of women is also having association with the slavery of the caste system because these are the two sides of one coin.
की त्यांना घाबरून आपण त्यांच्याच चिन्हाला मतदान केलं पाहिजे हे आपण लक्षात घ्या. आता हे तराजू जे चिन्ह मिळालेले तेच निवडणूक होईपर्यंत आपलं कायम राहणार. ते काही चिन्ह कोण बदलू शकत नाही.
We are working in this Pune district and in part of Maharashtra, and we feel that women can become a revolutionary force to change our own lives as well as within the society if the caste barriers are broken and women from different castes come to fight patriarchy as well as the caste system together. Every week we have got one central meeting. There women from rural areas, they would come, there would be lawyers, there would be 2-3 type of problems which are faced by women. One is about domestic violence, then secondly sexual harassment and dowry deaths where we have to give protection from the police, and third is about some problems about slum and water and sanitation. As a medical doctor, it helps me to talk with women with the knowledge of their mind and body both. In the Hivre village in the Pune district, I asked the women how is the water system in the village, to which women said there are 2 wells generally. One is for the outcast people and one is for the people from the upper caste. If there is famine or drought, if the water tanker comes to the village, first it goes to the well of the upper caste and then that tanker comes to the people from the outcast. There is a traditional system. People from upper caste, they stay within the wall of the village, while people who were supposed to be outcast, they stay outside the wall. I had a discussion with Jagtap Bai and I asked her if Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar had come now and if he had seen the situation, what he would have felt. To which she said he would have been very unhappy because there is lot of poverty.
म्हणजे गरिबाची जनताची कशी काय हालत चालली, कसं काय चाललंय हे वाईट लागलं असतं ना.
There is water problem, children are not getting proper education and there are atrocities everywhere.
नाही आता पाण्याचं आम्हाला बरं आहे.
I was born in an untouchable family. I travel all around Bihar. I am an activist and we are working for the development, education and for the social upliftment of the untouchable people. His name is Kalicharan. He is from untouchable community. He is working as a bonded labor for his landlord, and all the inhabitants of this village are as a bonded laborer. One day, he was sitting here, and his landlord was passing through this way, but he could not go out from his way, so he was very badly beaten. And next morning, he was told by his landlord, and not only that fellow, all the member of this village, Musar's village, was told to leave this village, otherwise they will be killed. The villagers were living in the open field, and there was heavy rain. Ultimately, we were taken in the police security back to that village. If you talk to the landlord of that village, they will inform you that there is no problem. And they will say everybody is happy. But in fact, the truth is that out of 40 families, nobody is literate. Everybody is bonded. Everybody will have to work for his landlord. Otherwise, he will be beaten.
रामकिशन सिंह नाम है हमारा। हम इसी गांव में रहते हैं। खेती गृहस्थी अच्छे तरीका से करते हैं। गांव के लोगों के साथ मिलजुल कर रहते हैं और जात के राजपूत हैं। गांव के लोगों से मिलजुल कर रहता हूं, अच्छा व्यवहार रखता हूं।
There are several stories of beating, even harassing, molesting women. So when you talk to the landlord, it looks that no problem. But when we go to the village, there is problem. No one is literate. Out of 100 children, you will see 80 children sick or malnutrition.
मेरा नाम लाल बहादुर सिंह है। मैं राजपूत हूँ। मेरा यह मकान है। मेरा यह पटना कॉलेज में लड़का पढ़ता है।
मेरे साथ मजदूर भी काम करता है। मजदूरों को मैं 20 रुपया पर डे देता हूँ और खाना और नाश्ता भी देता हूँ। यहाँ मजदूर खाने पीने से खुशहाल है और बाहर के अगर लफरबाज लोग को भी आते हैं, उसको बात सुनने के लिए यहाँ के मजदूर तैयार नहीं है, इसलिए कि उसको अच्छा खाना भोजन मिलता है, प्यार भी मिलता है, इज्जत भी मिलता है।
The Constitution has given us a lot of rights, but the truth is different. Nobody can go and cast vote against the landlord.
और मजदूर को मैं बढ़िया उसका अच्छी जो मुआवजा है वो देता हूँ और तालमेल से रहता हूँ। गांव में मेल मिलाप रहता है, किसी भी प्रकार का कोई गड़बड़ी और विरोध नहीं है।
Laborers, particularly the agriculture laborers, has a life just like a slave. Landlord has a supreme power over the untouchable village. His son or his relative are in the politics. In the bureaucracy, their family, their caste, they are also supreme. Even in the opposition party, they are from the landlord community or from the upper caste people.
Laldas Paswan 45, Umesh Paswan 6, Pinky 6 months, she was a girl, Chandradev Paswan 45, Baldev Paswan 60, Phaguni Das 45, Devcharan Das 45, Nagendra Das 7, Sugambar Das 35, Shiv Das 30, Sahab Das 45, Ganga Das 18, Chote Das 15, Girje Das 13, Raghu Das 50, Karu Das 18, Karu Das 30, Ravindra Das 18. These are the names of the martyrs of Noni village of the massacre of 16th June 1988. I've covered a lot of Harijan atrocities, but what really appalled me about the massacre was the fact that the Home Minister actually tried to blame the untouchables themselves, that they themselves were part of these left-wing groups, and that it was a fight between two left-wing groups. And this was completely untrue. When I went there, and I found that in fact it was a pure caste war. अच्छा, उस रात को जब आए पहले आपके बच्चे को मारा?
हाँ, पहले बच्चा को मारा।
और फिर आपके?
ओके मर्द के फिर मारा। हल्ला करे ना तो मर्द के मारा।
और फिर आपको गोली लगा?
आपको गोली।
किधर देखा है? कैसे?
जांघ में मारा।
यहाँ पे गोली लगा।
हाँ।
और फिर उसके आपके गोली। She had this child in her arms, and the killers had been told that she had 2 sons. So before she could tell them that it wasn't a boy, they'd already killed the child. And the 3rd child, which is this one, was with his grandmother, and ironically got saved because the grandmother pretended that he was a girl.
फागुने, सुगमर, साहेब, गंगा, छोटे, गिरगेश, कारू, दचारन, नगेंद्र।
मारा गए हमारे पिताजी, मारे गए हमारा लड़का बेटा, मारे गए हमारे 2 ठो बहनोई, 4 गो भगिना, मारे गए रघु, मारे गए जैसे कि ये शिबू, मारे गए लालदास पासवान 4 ठो, अरे हाँ 5 गो। अच्छा, मारे गए जा कर करके के चंद्रदेव पासवान, मारे गए जैसे कि फिर बालदेव पासवान, मैंने सभी मिलाई करके 19 परिवार ही हम मृत्यु का मारे गए।
3 गो, एगो बच्ची, एगो बच्चा, एगो मर्द।
What caused the massacre in this village was a fight between her husband and the landlord's family, and the fight was about minimum wages. Her husband was demanding minimum wages and was daring to stand up to the landlord when in fact all that the landlord was giving them for their labor was half a kilo of rice a day. So they seem to have picked on her particular family and on another family with whom also there was a dispute over a pool of stagnant water in the common land in the village. They actually identified the landlord's family that was responsible for the massacre, who are still on the run. The police appears to have done nothing to try and catch them. There's this terrible fear in them that the landlords have on their side the administration and the police, and so there's no question of justice ever. They have to live in fear for the rest of their lives.
सूतली रात में हलो तो सब एने माले हलवा सब नतिया दम दा के ओने सब हेलल हलवा सरकार आये ने हलवा अच्छा तिया पीटे लके मारिया खोल लीवा ठाए ठाए कर का भाई जाके मारी हलवा एक हलवा सिटकी लिया हलो 2-3 गो बस तोड़ दर का बाबा उठला ना अपने हलवा काट करे अखने बूढ़ा मार देखो गोलियां बच्चा टानिया गिर गेल आ ओहे गोलियां मकरू ओकरू मार हमरो मार दे गिरलियो गोलिया में हम हुआ मरल हम।
बात तो इतना ही हुआ था कि यहाँ करीब 12-11:30 में यहाँ हलगामा हुआ। हलगामा होला के आला के बाद में हम देखे, यहाँ पर थे तो नहीं, हम देखे कि माने शुरू प्रथम तो वहीं से लाश हम दिखने लगे, तो देखते देखते सभी को घर में यानी बिल्कुल लाश पड़ा हुआ है। इतने में कह कर करके जैसे कि हम पिताजी यही घर में मारे गए, बेटा हमारा यही घर में मारा गया, बहनों यू घर में, भगना वो घर में, बहनों यू घर में, मैंने हमारा 9 परिवार मारा गया है, 3 व्यक्ति घायल, 12 गो।
एगो है तो साध के मरलवा वो करे ही रुपया हल ओहे खातिर हमने सब के मार दो अपना जो काकावा की गोदिया के बच्चे वो मार दे रखे तो घर में ने हाँ ओकरे कारण होलो 3000 रुपया हले का तो और आगे दले चल जाही खूनवा पूछते गुदवा पूछते बाप एक गोलियां मार और बाप एक गोलियां मार दे और कोई न सब तो अपन अपन फटार भीड़ बेटा भी रोले हम एक गोलियां मार दे जा दे वो करे लगे वो फरिंग वो कर आ जाता
Andhra Pradesh, southwest India. 16 Dalits hospitalized with serious injuries after upper caste violence.
Bihar, northeast India. 8 Dalits gunned down by landlords.
Karnataka, southwest India. 5 Harijan men were forced by upper caste landlords to eat human excreta.
Bihar, northeast India. 11 Dalits were gunned down, 3 injured in upper caste violence.
Haryana, North India. A 25-year-old Harijan woman was gang raped and murdered.
Madhya Pradesh, central India. 3 members of a Dalit family were hacked to death by caste Hindus.
Maharashtra, central India. The eyes of a Dalit villager were gouged out. His crime, he had bought a piece of land.